Don't remind me. Okay.
We
It's
fasted
from the
for you.
daiquiri shop.
Hello, everyone. Sometimes y'all, I just wish you all here before we record and after we record because it's hilarious. It really is. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. What we're going to be doing is talking about Interview with the Vampire. Specifically, we're going to be doing a deep dive on the character Daniel Malloy. So this is the point where what we normally do is we talk about the title, but the title is what it is. It's just a deep dive. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go straight to the video. All right, and so before we get started, there are a few things that we're going to be talking about as it relates to Daniel Malloy. Obviously, we're not going to be able to talk about every single thing as it relates to this particular character, but we're going to talk about his privacy issues. We're also going to be talking about his fears, self-pity, what he enjoys, and his mortality. We're also going to be talking about how smart he is. All right, so first, as it relates to his privacy. So, and what I mean by that, his privacy is specifically dealing with his health. In episode 1, it is revealed that Louie knows about Daniel's health condition. So let's watch this clip real quick.
Health concerns of late.
Whole planet's having a moment, I'd say.
You have Parkinson's disease, Daniel.
Yeah. And you've got your own hangar at the airport, privileges on the Royal Maidan Bridge, and zero presence online.
Have I hit a nerve?
I know the Emiratis are big on privacy, and that's probably important to you, but I gotta ask, what does it cost, this haven't aged in half a century, killer views in all directions anonymity?
Quite a lot.
Only my family and my doctor know I'm sick. I don't dig the one-way hack, yeah? And here's another question. That's the sun out there. Where's your coffin?
You're standing in it.
All right, so what we see right there is Daniel strikes back anytime he feels that his privacy has been overlooked or has been disregarded. In that particular scene, what is it that you all noticed about Daniel?
So I noticed that Daniel does this classic deflecting. Like, instead of dealing with what exactly is happening in the moment, he's going to turn it right back around on you. And he's actually really, really good at it. That's one of the things that I love about Daniel. He's 100% human, but he's sitting there with this apex predator and he's seemingly unfazed by it. Now, when you look closer, you notice that he's kind of fiddling with his hands a bit. Like, you can tell that Louie kind of struck a nerve with him by addressing his health issues. So I do love the fact that he is amazing at deflecting. He still brought it back to the issue, though. Like, hey, only my family and my doctors know my issues. Mind your business. I do feel like he maybe is a little, I don't want to say jealous, but I'm going to say jealous of the fact that Louie is immortal. Like, how dare you come at me about my health conditions? You're sitting up here, basically, what I guess he assumes is like, hey, where's your coffin? So are you a day walker? What's going on with you? Like, you worried about my health conditions, but look at you. You done been around for over a century. Let me get in your business. So that's
Cool.
what I'm thinking.
And I think that's also the same attitude and the same way in which he addresses and refers to Louis throughout the interview. Really, I mean, that's how he turns the table when it gets too hot. Basically, he don't want to talk about something, and he flipped the script and he starts to talk about, oh well, you talking about this, but what about this? Or he dives deeper, as we saw when he was questioning Louis about Claudia and about the ripped pages out the diary and all that that we talked about at that particular point in time. So he knows how to push buttons. And I think a good investigative journalist or reporter should know how to push buttons.
Definitely a
Mhm.
skill. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Erica?
I think that he's good at deflecting. I just think that he was more angry than anything. That and wondering too, like maybe jealous that, like Elia said, jealous that his resources can yield him all this information. The
Interesting.
only way, the only way Daniel can know anything about um Louis is if he asks.
Louie.
Yeah, if he is if he asks Louis. You know, the balance of power in their relationship is not the same, and I
Yeah.
think that's what frustrates him. That's what makes him lash out and become corrupt.
It's interesting that you say lash out. Let's watch this next clip. It's also dealing with his it's dealing with his health, right? So let's watch this clip.
I would like to circle back around to something that Bear of Men said, though. She said the only way that Malloy would know anything about Louis is to ask. I love that because that goes back to something that they said in the show, the Odyssey of Recollection. So Louis has the power to paint the picture however he wants it to be, versus Louis having, like she
Reality.
said, the resources or um, what have you, to just be able to know where Malloy is and everything that he has going on. So I love it.
Hence, yes, hence the reason why he's so frustrated with the abducted pages from the diary. It's like, kind of, what
Right.
is this? Like, why are we even doing this if we're gonna withhold information?
Right.
Right.
Giving me
Because
proof that she was some type of way, or she was
right.
existed, or that she did love me, and that I'm telling the truth, but you're not giving me a whole truth or nothing but. So why are we wasting our time? Because there's no way for me to
Mhm.
cross-examine and figure out the story for myself. And I think as a journalist who usually has endless means, especially a well-established journalist, you've endless means at your disposal, endless connections. You've made a name for yourself. All you got to do is make a phone call and Shazam, right? But that's not the case anymore because he's erased himself. He has a tomb. Louis has a tomb, in New Orleans where he's buried, but there's nobody. Or there could be. We don't know what his family did. But he's recognized as a deceased man. There's no, he has endless amounts of money at his disposal to be wiped off the face of the planet and kept a secret. How is he supposed to know what you're saying is the truth? And then you want him to take this interview and take it for face value and say it's real and go just run with it now? It's not fair.
And who would believe Malloy anyway?
Right.
This
Right.
man is, this old and yada, yada, yada. Nobody's going to believe him.
Oh, you
And
talked to a vampire, did you?
Baker said in
How,
19.
Me
how
too.
often do you talk to said vampires?
Me too. I talked to one right now. It's one of those type of things. Like me too. I just the other day I talked to
So you like bloodsuckers, huh? Okay.
I kick it with a vampire every afternoon.
Do we
Okay.
think that part of the reason that it's like, well, do we think part of the reason why he's upset as well is because he feels as though Louis is trying to spin a narrative that is not necessarily the way things really are? Because he talked about earlier on when they first met, the story was this way, and now we're retelling basically the same story, or we're picking up the story anew, and certain parts of it have changed, certain things have changed. So what
The whole
is it
thing.
about, what's going on? Do we feel that, I mean, this is kind of talking about Louis, but do we feel that Daniel or Louis or Daniel suspects that Louis has an ulterior motive to this?
Yes, he does. But let me say this. Some of the things that you all are talking about right now, we're going to talk about a little bit later. So
Okay.
I want you to hold that. No. It's not to hit you, but like I want you to remember what you were saying. But we're going to get to it. All right.
You editorialize, however noble the reasoning, it calls into question the other shit you're shoveling my way. Or maybe you can recite it from memory as you've demonstrated before. Let's see. Bruce walked back from the fire and leaned down over me and torn out pages.
Don't ask again.
Mr. Dulack occasionally finds it difficult to talk about Claudia.
Got that?
Mr. Dulack would like to apologize and continue with the interview if you are in.
Still recording.
So, Erica, earlier you were talking about when Daniel lashes out, right? So clearly, what was happening in that particular scene was Louie took over his body. Now, it caused tremors in his arm, right? The same arm that typically trembles when we see evidence of Parkinson's, right? And that was not something that Daniel found funny.
That's a dick move, Louie.
Right.
Or humbling.
Especially somebody that you're trying to get on your side if you're trying to spin a story.
It did not humble him. It pissed him the fuck off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So his health, so his privacy, and that leads us to his fear, right? And so that was one example of the type of fear that Daniel has in his life. Losing control of his body is a fear that he has, right? That's something that happens in Parkinson's right before you die.
Speaking of losing control of his body, you know, Daniel is obviously gay, right?
Or bi.
Well, gay.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Did he have children? Does he have a family?
He has 2 daughters.
He does.
Married
They
twice.
met in a gay bar.
Yeah,
They did.
1973.
Yeah, and if you're bisexual and you're looking for a man, you're gonna.
They did, but in episode 2, Daniel said he was just trying to score. He was just trying to get some drugs. Yeah. So he didn't see, he didn't see himself as being gay, right?
I'm
Based on what he said, he didn't see himself as being gay. He said it's a great place to score when you're high.
That back then.
Yeah.
To Louie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking
y'all not buying it.
I'm thinking. First of all, Louie can read thoughts. Okay, right. And
Mm-hmm.
back then in that gay bar where he's looking to score, score can be more than one thing, right? It could be a double entendre, if you will. So,
true.
I really, really feel like he's a little.
Y'all gonna make me go to the end because I was trying to save this for the very end, but no. Let's talk about it since we're there. All right. So since we're there now, this one, okay. Is this it? This might be it. And if it's not, I'll stop it and come back to it.
That's an interesting name.
Louie of Juan Dulack Plantation. My great-great-grandfather owned one. All that remains is a name.
Oh, that's the accent.
I have an accent?
I have a slight sharpness of the consonants, that's all.
An observant journalist.
Yeah. I do interviews mostly. I have a series at the Berkeley Bar. I could interview you.
Well, I'm no one of importance.
Well, it's my speciality. You see, I look for people in the cracks. You feel me?
I do feel you.
It's about the people, who make the city, right? Not a cop or a politician. Any asshole can do that. Look, you see, I get them on tape, and then I write them up.
You didn't come here for that. I know you're struggling, Danny.
It's Daniel.
I have what you're looking for. High quality, fitting a man of my tastes. I have a room over on Deficitero, not too far walk.
You a narc?
I'm a vampire.
I want to interview you.
Sounds fun.
I mean, if something happens, you know, I'm cool, but yeah, I really want to interview you.
Of course. Take it as it comes. Is that okay with you? Would you like to join us?
No. You go ahead, have your fun.
So so what we just saw was basically Daniel was remembering what actually happened. And if you can recall, well, what we just saw was that Daniel basically said, hey, if something happens, meaning sex between the two of us, then it happens. But let's just see what happens. So clearly he's now remembering. Say that again.
While they were in the bar.
While they were in the bar.
That's what he said in the bar. It was the three of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so clearly there's something that he simply didn't remember it, right? He didn't know about that.
The drugs.
You say it's the drugs, but
If
I'm
he
going
was on drugs already looking to score ahead of time, then he don't remember what he was willing to do for him either.
Right.
It's possible, but
he might have been ready to slap them clap.
It's possible, but remember, I said in one of the earlier episodes, I said that in book 3, Armand and Daniel were lovers.
They were. I was going to say that that this could be the series changed a couple things, but this is one thing that they maybe it's going to happen in the future, or maybe this is their way to kind of throw a nod to that. That they are lovers, and he actually wears, I think, a vial of Armand's blood around his neck at some point in time. So
Daniel does?
Yeah, in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so the reason I was holding that till the end was because it was probably the most salacious part. And riveting, and kind of at the same time has us like looking forward to season 2. But clearly, if you're going by the third book, what must have happened was they had lived their life together, and some kind of way Armand had wiped his memory of ever dealing with him at all, right? Or even
but why would you do that?
Maybe it ended bad.
And honestly, Daniel's a little bit of a queen. Like, if we being honest,
he's a drama queen.
If we being honest, he got a little queen in him. So it's just like
the way he slapped Louie, I was like,
listen.
He said, "Don't play with me."
Louie ate that though.
On that slap, don't play with me. I'm not the one.
Louie low key like that kind of thing. So that ain't nothing new.
Look, I'm with Louie. Like, I like that too, Louie. Like,
okay. So Louie promised not to ever. Louie promised not to ever do anything to Daniel while they were doing the interviews again, right? So that's why he didn't react. And remember, when he was making Daniel's arm trimmer, it was Rashid that came and kind of settled him down, right? And that was to stop him from overreacting, because if you remember in the movie, it was Louie who kind of attacked Daniel.
Absolutely.
He
didn't think it was funny at all.
Nope. In the movie, I believe he had him up against the wall or up on the ceiling or something along those lines. I don't remember.
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above.
But Daniel in the movie, it excited him. So he was
on them drugs. He was on them drugs.
He liked it.
It's the Rihanna S&M moment.
Right. So let's put 2 and 2 together with Daniel and say, he resists, but then he likes. and that's kind of part of his kink, and that's kind of we don't kink shame, but that's kind of part of the thing that he's into a little bit. He goes to the club looking to score, double entendre included. I think this is part of who he is as a character. But he's moved away from that, and so I wonder if there's more to this story about why he moved away, why he wanted a family, all those things. Or are we reading more into it than
You're talking about Daniel?
Daniel? Yeah.
I feel like Daniel likes living on the edge.
Right.
I really do. I really feel like that's part of who he is. I feel like he enjoys living on the edge. I really do.
Will we say this about him? Do we think it's because of his disease? Is this part of his reason wanting to live on the edge? Is this a whole part of his thing, or do we think that's just a part of his character?
I feel like it's part of his character. Just first of all, the type of journalism that he's into, the things that he likes to cover, like he gets off on that. Like he doesn't mind doing the grimy, filthy, things that's gonna make the entire world hate him. He doesn't mind doing it. And I feel like that just gets him off. Like I just feel like he's a thrill seeker.
Just a small thing. There was something that he mentioned. He said his wife had her eyebrow had two colors. One part was brown, another part was blonde or something like that. And she would dye it. And he basically said, I liked it when it was those two colors. That told me that he likes what's different. He likes what's unique. He likes what's, avant-garde. So that lends itself towards his character being a bit more free and accepting of what is different.
Oh, attention to detail. I love that. Like I wouldn't even have connected that, but that's major.
I wasn't part about the wife at all, so that was awesome.
Oh, you didn't remember? Oh, look! I spent a lot of time. Look, rewind, and I was on AMC, and it AMC don't work right, so
no, it doesn't. But because I got somebody log in, I must not complain. Like, this is not where I wanted you to pick up from.
I'm gonna use it.
Also, just something else about Daniel. Daniel has a bit of self-pity, and that self-pity centers itself around two different things. It centers around his career and also his relationships with his daughters. His career, so first off, he is on the decline, right? He has this health issue, and one thing that we see that he to himself sold out, right? He has become like this master journalist. He's trying to teach people how to become journalists, and we see in the very beginning, well, for him it is.
Yeah.
And so what he does is like he changes the channel. He's like he's not there for it, right? So he feels like this might be his last shot, right? Of doing something that is really big and really important to the world. And if you think about it, exposing vampires would be important to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's a particular scene where he's talking about his daughters, and he doesn't even get it out. It's a little bit later that he says, in a couple episodes later, where he talks about his daughters and the fact that having relationships with your daughters are not necessarily what you expect it to be. And so that tells me that, there's a bit of self-pity there as it relates to both of those things. Your thoughts? I'm just not going to do the videos because it takes too much time.
I definitely agree with maybe a little bit of self-pity, but I kind of feel, though, if it was all self-pity, that when he was offered the opportunity to get the dark gift, then he would have accepted to an extent.
He did.
But
he was begging for it.
So in so many different episodes, in slight ways, he's bringing it up. He even says in one episode when he's talking to Rashid, he was like, "Oh, are you all fattening me up for the inevitable?" Meaning he feels like they're going to kill him in the end. Also, he was talking about Parkinson's. He asked them, do you all have the cure for Parkinson's? Of course they have the cure for Parkinson's. Become a vampire.
Yeah. And they're not going to give it. Can I say what I think it is? Well, can we touch on this point yet?
Yeah.
Because I know we said something about like where's all this coming from, like his ballsiness. First of all, I think he's jealous. No matter the relationship, the Armand, of course, we didn't know it was Armand at the time. You know, Rashid's relationship was with Louie. You got this guy that comes in here, he's telling me whatever after you make me have this Parkinson's episode, right? And then after you make me have this Parkinson's episode, this reminds me of how I was unable to defend myself before. I wanted you to kill me, then they make me a vampire, freeze my life, then make my life interesting and exciting and exhilarating. Then you didn't do it, but you terrified the hell out of me. You could have killed me. Basically, in the no better way to say it than the way I'm gonna say it, you hold me. And here you are again. Here you are again, holding me again. You know, you pull in my, you know, you're just doing me any kind of way you want to. Still not giving me what I need to make me better, but playing with the thing that's making me worse. That's why he got mad and slapped him. He let him know I'm still a man.
That's a good point.
You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm still a person. Like, you're not gonna just do me like that. The hell? Got me shivering and shaking and shit. No, I can't control that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'd have smacked his ass too.
But isn't there a point?
And that wouldn't have happened if he would have made him a damn vampire a long time ago when he was in
when
this
they first met.
Shell. It's not like if they bite Daniel now, he's gonna have this like cute. What was the actor's name?
Movie?
Huh?
The movie or the series?
The movie.
Shoot.
Brad Pitt, Christian Slater,
Tom Cruise,
Christian Slater. I'm not gonna be frozen in this bomb ass Christian Slater facade. Here I am, an older gentleman with goddamn Parkinson's disease, and you playing on my top when you could have fixed this a long time ago. Same time you hold me last time. If you think I'm gonna stand for that today, you tripping. I'm old. I smack your ass. That's how I feel. I really didn't. When he smacked him, I thought it had something to do with all that, like the stuff that you guys said. But I felt like it was on some. You gonna quit playing with me?
But isn't there a point when he asks when he says he doesn't want to be a vampire, or I feel like
he does say that, but I don't believe him. I don't believe him
because this is the first person that was begging for it in the first. If we just connect the first movie and the books, he was basically begging for it. He wanted it at the end, and then
by the end of this interview, he's gonna be begging again.
I believe that.
I'm curious how they're going to resolve this, though, because in the books and in the movie, I think the original movie, they allude to the fact that he is turned into a vampire. Even in the first movie, he's bitten by Lestat at the very end of the scene, one of the last scenes of the movie. And in the books, he eventually is turned into a vampire. So I kind of feel like to stay true to the story, he's eventually going to have to be turned, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're going to do.
I just think they're going to turn them at a later age.
That would piss me off.
I think all of that is going to happen, but at a later age.
That's like the reverse Claudia shit.
But he'll be strong.
Spectrum. Am I tripping? I'm not trying to come off as an ageist, but it's like you playing games.
but supposedly
Michelle, I want to be in.
He'll be strong, but he'll be a perfected version of Daniel.
Right.
You know how they used to say
my vanity,
a glorified body. His glorified body.
My favorite scene.
But don't you think At his age, he's still an attractive man.
Yeah, he's handsome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I said I don't think it was all about age, but can you imagine? I mean, let's talk about it. Can you
If I had the
imagine?
choice between being a vampire when I was 25 and being a vampire
In my
when
prime.
I was
25 in my prime.
I'm a classic. I'm not gonna say my age. I'm matter of fact, I'm becoming a classic or whatever.
I think we all become a classic.
Currently vintage and fine with it.
Turning vintage, not yet a fine wine, but we're well on our way. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have wanted you to give me a 19.
No.
Come
Yeah,
back.
no, not 19. Not
I'm talking about
19.
Me a 19.
Give me a 30.
I ain't talking about my mind. I'm talking about my body.
Well, for me, give me a 30.
You okay? But baby, no. Get me at 19, baby. I would have been all kinds of crazy in the age to that. You know
Okay, Claudia. Okay, Claudia.
No, not at 19, friend.
That's before them. No, friend. That's before them titties dropped. They was still sitting in my chin. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
You did say the body, not the mind. So okay.
I said the body, not the mind. If we could have closed any parts of my body, it'd have been as soon as I got them titties. Before they dropped a little. You know what I'm saying? Right when it was right up here. Catch me outside when you get right to the left.
She wants to be brought back to when that thing was thanging.
When that thing was thanging.
I was off the damn hinges. Are you crazy? I was fresh off the track team. Thighs still thighlicious.
Okay, big thighs, yeah.
Big thighs,
muscle thighs.
Okay,
yeah.
What's the 9 if you
all
was
right?
right?
The ass was
not there, but still.
Somebody come get me.
I was actually
where is the defibrillator? I am dead. Where is
the them thighs was dying, them titties was
crash part. Where's the crash
part? I'm okay with that. I was always okay with that.
I need the defibrillator.
Oh, shit.
All right.
You have kids and shit changed. They ain't telling all the truth.
Let's talk about how smart Daniel was. So in the different episodes, we saw just how smart he was. Louie was giving him all kinds of stuff, and Daniel always had the comeback. So for instance, in episode 3, Daniel didn't mind challenging Louie in that moment. So he had some research for Louie. Also in episode 4, as intuitive and as insightful, I can't say certain words, as he also was very crude and indelicate. In episode 5, when Louie is trying to get Daniel to write the piece in such a way to not make Claudia look bad, he offers that once you put this out there, people are going to interpret it any way that they want to. In that moment, though, I also thought that he was trying to be a little bit compassionate towards Louie. Also, in episode 7, Daniel systematically dismantles Louie's story, especially when it related to Lestat and killing Lestat. Just how smart is Daniel?
Daniel is that dude. Okay. Daniel is going to sit there. He's going to let you run it. And he's processing everything, and his mind is running a mile ahead of yours. So although, like Louie, you have created this nice little narrative while you've been talking, Daniel, I'm gonna call him Danny. Danny is fact checking you the entire way in his head without saying a word as you're giving this odyssey of recollection, that's happening. So,
allow me my odyssey.
So he's breaking apart everything that Louie is saying. Now, Louie, albeit is very convincing, but Daniel is like, okay, yeah, that's great. But he waits until he gets everything out, and then he just like destroys him. And I just love it. Like, you may be an apex predator, but I am that dude when it comes to my craft.
Right.
I see you. I have zoomed in on you, and here are the 57 holes that are in your story.
So much so that it made Louie recall some things that he had forgotten,
Correct.
which calls into question whether or not Armand had erased certain memories from Louis as well.
Why you think that? Because I didn't know Armand could erase memory.
That's juicy.
Well,
Well, so they
Armand
did say
is,
that. Yeah.
He's ancient. He's
yeah,
older than Lestat.
yeah, he is. Well, Lestat
And,
is more
and
powerful
from
than
the
Armand,
movie,
though.
and from the movie, in my opinion, 60 is here. I love me some Antonio Banderas.
So, but did you know that
Listen,
Lestat is more powerful than Armand?
Yes.
He
Yes.
is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because he drank older blood, even more powerful blood.
Oh, is that
He's
how it works?
actually more
Mm-hmm.
powerful than.
He
I
was
didn't know
created by older blood than
that.
Armand, and then he later he drank blood of someone even more powerful than that.
Wait, they could
Mhm.
continue to drink blood and gain powers?
Which is why Louis was drinking Armand's blood.
Right.
Hmm.
So that he could become more
You
powerful,
guys put
more.
that together for me so much because I kept wondering what the hell was going on with that. I was like, why is he doing that? Especially by the end of the series, I was like, but he was
Well,
drinking his blood.
But Armand was also kind of babying, in my opinion. He was babying Louis a little bit, and I kind of feel that
Yeah,
with
he little
Louis,
baby.
Daniel,
he
when Daniel
he's
ripped up his story, Armand had to come and save Louis because I think that
Some
Louis,
smithereens.
a part of Louis, because of who he is and how the compassion that he quote unquote has for others or whatever, the whole issue that Lestat has with Louis, and his way to choose to be a vampire, I think that has affected Louis to a certain extent. I don't think that he's as strong as he could have been if he would have really accepted
Listen,
being an apex predator like Lestat wanted him to be. So it kind of makes me think that.
I I have a different opinion.
Do you really?
Yeah, and it's based on this. So by reading which I don't remember which book anymore. Um Armand loved Louis far more than Louis loved Armand. And so
Yeah,
because of
that's true.
that, Armand was willing to do extra things to keep Louis. The one thing that we know about this
you
entire
said,
series is that
wait. You said Armand loved Louis more than Louis loved Armand.
correct.
Okay.
That's the same thing with Lestat.
That was
Lestat
that's the way it
loved.
was. That was the way it was in the show too. I
Yeah,
mean, in the movie too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
hmm
It
Okay.
was.
hmm And so as a result, I really do think that Louis just let him do it. Like, okay, do it. Like, I'm cool with it. Do it. I don't. I we
Is
saw
this a character flaw with Louis that we're going to talk about?
I
Does
hope so because
maybe so. I don't
can't
know.
wait to talk about what I think about that.
Is he a user a little bit?
That's
Oh,
another episode.
I know.
another
I'm,
episode. 'Cause
stay tuned.
I really want to say something about Louis right now, but I keep it.
Go ahead
But
on. Go ahead on.
I feel like, first of all,
I feel like the Lord of the Rings. It ruins it.
okay, I won't say that.
No, say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. We'll say it again.
I just feel like if that's the case, then you one of them weak ass lovers that just be doing whatever your lover be wanting you to do. You don't have an opinion. You don't have any standards. You're in love for love's sake. Like to be taken care of, to be loved. But you're selfish. You don't stand for anything,
It's a
Like just
possibility.
It's kind of
It
hard
like
to
is
stand
possible.
from something when you spent the bulk of your life as a human being and somebody come into your life and got you levitating to the high heaven.
Right.
that
It
made
will
them
Kind of
affect
hard
you a
to be
little bit.
rational,
the
you know?
only stand he took was not to eat was to eat animals, which had nothing to do with his love for
so
anybody.
far, so
So
far
far.
that we've seen in the series. So far that we've seen in the series.
The only person he was willing to die behind was his childlike love, but not for his lover. So it's like,
But he did.
forget all your
He
lovers.
said. He said it
Only
himself. He said it himself. Lestat would not have been the person that he would have chosen.
Right.
If he had to choose somebody, it would not have been Lestat. But because Lestat was the one who gave him the blood, there is a blood bond. So there is a part of him that does love him, that doesn't want to cause him harm, but
There's
You know what
also
I'm
a part
saying?
of him that wishes him harm. Like she said in Eve's Bayou, I want to do you harm. There's a part of him that wants to
I love
do
that
him
movie.
harm.
Thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.